Oh man, another Monday. I don't know about you guys, but I wish it was a snow day or something. Anyway, since we're here, might as well do some learning, right? Okay, so today, okay, I got good news. Got good news. Today, I am not having you read anything new. I know. For the last couple days, that's all you've done is read and take double journal entries. And by now, you should be an expert, and you don't have to do it today. So let's celebrate. Done? Okay. All right. So today, what are we going to do today? And here's what we're going to do today. Well, pretty soon, as in like a couple of days, you guys get to start your research project within groups, okay, that I picked. So don't look around the room. Stop looking. Stop, 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 stop. Okay. Stop looking. I picked your group. But you're going to get that in a couple days. And you get to do a research project, okay? And I am going to give you a question, okay, to start. And then as you go off in your research, my idea, our hope, as a social studies department here at Edison and Broadmoor, is that you guys are going to go off and you're going to start like finding questions, right, as you research about the topic, of course. So like, not I'm researching about the Industrial Revolution, and then I think about how much pizza rolls cost, but I love my pizza rolls. No, not that kind of thing. Or a question about, I don't know, anything. I don't know, whatever. You make it up. Okay? But still, like as we're researching, hopefully, obviously, we're thinking, and as we're thinking, more questions come. Well, I'm going to talk about a topic that I'm sure you've probably been talked to about before, but I'm not sure how long ago it's been and all that kind of stuff. And the idea, okay, the idea is this, right? This is the idea that I'm sure you've been told about. There's two types of questions, okay? Two types. Okay, first type that we call, at least here at Edison, compelling questions, okay? And then the second type we're going to call, type 2, is supporting questions. Okay, and I'm going to give you a chance to think about what those mean. Okay, I just did that for dramatic effect. Make sure you're awake. Okay, so compelling questions, right? Now, another word for compelling question that you've probably been told before is thick questions versus thin questions, okay? And that would probably be like if your teacher, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, I don't know, told you about like research and looking for questions and how to come up with questions and yada, yada, yada. Like they probably use the thick versus thin question, okay? Well, compelling questions and supporting questions are kind of the same thing. So like, I hate when teachers do this, and I'm sorry if I'm doing it to you right now, but it's like, well, that's just a different name for this same thing. And that's kind of true, okay? But I also get, I get that because, again, 3rd grade, 4th grade, compelling question and supporting question sound a lot more complicated than thick question and thin question. It's like, if you're frustrated because it's the same name, I apologize. Okay, but you're probably thinking, so what's a compelling question? Well, a compelling question is like, well, I guess if I was going to explain compelling, it's like thinking about the hows of the world and the whys of the world and the hows comes of the world. Okay, so it's a question like that you'd really have to think about, and you'd really have to read about, and there's a lot of different moving parts that go to it, and you have to figure out how all these things connect to really be able to answer the question and truly answer the question. All right, so like a compelling question. You're going to put me on the spot, but let's see. Like a compelling question could be, how has Facebook impacted the relationships people have with each other? Okay, I guess. Like, I mean, I just made that up on the spot, but I hope that makes sense. Like, it's a how question. There's a lot of different moving parts to that you can look to, and you want to be able to like probably read one like little article or one little thing or do one quick little Google search to really figure out how Facebook has impacted people's social relationships or whatever I said. Okay, so like it's a big question, right? And then like figuring out that question, like hopefully you see, well, I probably need to answer smaller questions. So like looking at that question, how Facebook has impacted people's social relationships, I'd probably have to think like I'd have to ask myself a question like, well, what were the social relationships before? Okay, what were they like now? And then maybe I would think, I don't know, there's a lot more other questions, okay, that I could go off and research, and then think about why did they change, like that kind of stuff, okay? So those little questions that fall underneath, we're going to call those the supporting questions, or maybe the thin questions, because, and of course, some of them are like this thin, some of them are this thin, and then some of them are just like this. See how thin that is? Thin. Okay. And the idea is they help you answer the thick, okay, compelling one. So a thin question, okay, for the Facebook one could be, who invented Facebook? Okay, when was Facebook invented? Who uses Facebook? Okay, what age group uses Facebook the most? What part of the country uses Facebook the most? Like those could be like you'd call thin questions, right? And the best way to describe that to me would be like, well, they don't always have to be, but they're typically like one word to like a sentence answer, and like that's about it. Okay, so like, who invented Facebook? Mark Zuckerberg or whatever, right? When was it invented? Like the date? Well, I don't really know, but I remember like in high school, and like when I was like in high school and stuff is kind of I think when it came out, and it used to only be a college thing. I don't even know if you guys knew that, but like when Facebook first started, you had to be in college, and it was like that's it. But anyway, so like what year was that? 2003? I don't know. Anyway, you get the idea. So it's like a thin question. All right, and hopefully as you find thin questions, okay, they can help you answer the thick question. So as I went off and I researched and I probably came up with a lot of thin questions about Facebook. Well, I'm hoping you came up with questions about Facebook if you were researching about it. Okay, it'd help you answer that initial first thick one. Okay, and yeah. Okay, now you might think questioning's easy, okay? And one sad part about being a teacher, and I hope I don't contribute too much to this, is the idea that people stop questioning things. Like, it's kind of a cliche, but like when you're younger, like my children's age, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, it's always like, why? And then why, and like parents like sometimes say they'll get tired of hearing like their kids say why, and then they're just like, it's just because. Stop asking why, right? And I don't know if that happened to you, but it's like, you have little Sally, and she's like, why is the sky blue? And the dad's like, blah blah blah, and then she's like, why? And the dad's like, blah 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 blah, right? And then he just gets mad and tells her, be quiet, and tells her, shh. All right, but that's really not what we want you to do. I mean, like as a historian, and that's what we're trying to do right now, is it's good to ask why. So like as you're going off today, and from now on, okay, it'd be good to be like, well, but why? Like, you're hearing the news and it's like, but why did President Trump do that? Or why did he say that? Or why are we doing this? Or why is the U.S. doing this? Or why did this happen in the U.S.? Or what caused it? What effects did it have on the U.S.? And like that kind of thing. It's never like, I think people always think technology like makes life easier, and like that's true, and maybe we don't need like to remember as much. But I mean, the one thing that this phone can never do is it can never, like, sure, it can give me access to a ton of information, more than I ever could imagine. Okay, but the one thing it can never do is it can never come up, not yet at least, and think. Right? Like it can't think for me. So like I can ask Siri or whatever the device is, like a question, all right? but it's not going to come up with its own questions and stuff. Like, I mean, I still need to be able to question things and think for myself and critically think and that kind of stuff. All right, technology hopefully is never going to replace us. I mean, I hope. So, so for your assignment for today, okay, since it's not, I'm not actually having you read anything. What I would like for you to do, hey, you're fine.